A very, very, very good morning. First of two transmissions this morning. First one now, second one at 9 o'clock. I'm having to shift the evening transmission back to 9 o'clock. Not because of viewing figures, but because of my my own capacity. If I'm honest with you, it takes me 2 hours to prepare before I turn the cameras on that you join me. So a 7:30 transmission means I'm starting to prepare at 5:30, and it's just causing problems with my ability to go and visit my families and friends and do the rounds that I normally do on a Sunday afternoon. So that's why I'm trying to shift. I'm having to shift it back to 9 o'clock. But in the lead up to the elections, my plan also is to do a morning transmission. These are very much electoral, campaigning workshops. So I want to try and split the two. So the morning workshops right now are for those of you who are interested in campaigning, interested in winning an election. Of course, both will likely, there'll be an overlap between both, but that's what we are trying to do. For those of you new to my work, my name is Raja Mia. For the last 5 years or so, I have been campaigning against the corrupt council and the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of children in my town, and the consequence of which is that I have been on ongoing police bail for the last 2 years, and for give or take the last 4 years at least, senior Labour Party figures in this town have attempted to have me criminalised, have had me demonised, and have even endorsed my murder. And the reason why is because I have been educating an entire town, and the consequences of that have been defeat after defeat at the ballot box for, in the main, Labour Party politicians. Let's bring up something first. This is a map of the new boundaries of Oldham. So following the Electoral Commission changes, which is why we've got all-out elections, this is the new map of the town, as you can see. And what this map is split into 20 wards, and there were some slight changes in around the boundaries. Slight changes in Hollingwood, Coldhurst, Chaddington. Not many, but a few changes. But we're having all-out elections in 2 months' time. Just under 2 months' time. All-out elections. What I first want to raise with you is where we've got independent standing. So of these 20 wards, I want to show you where we've got independent standing. So in Saddleworth North, which is in the main Conservative, and in Saddleworth South, we have independent standing. We have two lots of independent standing. I think we've got the Oldham Borough Independence, which is the revamp of the Proud of Oldham lot, very different to the nearly all of the other independents across the town, because the Oldham Borough Independents are fielding candidates across the town, irrespective of where others are, where other independents are, even if there is a chance that they will split the vote and let the Labour Party in, or let the Conservatives in, or let one of the mainstream parties in. There was no reasoning with them. I tried my best. The Oldham Borough Independents are fielding across the board. But also what you've got in Saddleworth North and Saddleworth South, and also in Saddleworth West and Lees, is where the Oldham Borough Independents are also standing, by the way. So in the 3 Saddleworth wards, you've also got the newly formed Saddleworth Independent Party, led by Gary Tarbuck up there, who's here today. So they are putting up candidates in all 3 of the wards. You've also got in Shaw, Mark Hince's team standing, the Shaw and Crompton Independence. I am doing my best to keep you up to date with what I know and what I believe to be accurate. So my apologies to Mark and his team if I've got this wrong, but my feelings are, having spoken at an event 2 weeks ago, very well attended event 2 weeks ago, I don't think he's going to get candidates in both Shaw and Crompton. I think it'll be just Shaw, is my guess. I might be wrong, but it's my guess. Likewise, the Royton Independent Party are standing, newly formed, Maggie Hurley. They're going to be standing in Royton South, and their aim is to take out Amanda Chaddderton and the Bashforths. If we are to take out the third leader in this town in succession, then the fight to watch is in Royton South, and they will be putting up 3 candidates, is my understanding. I don't think they'll get to Royton North, nor do I think they should get to Royton North. Same with Markins. In short, you can't spread yourself too thin to start with. In my opinion, you shouldn't spread yourself too thin to start with, particularly if you can't get the candidates. I think it's difficult. It's different in Saddleworth. But sure, I'm hoping Markins has 3 candidates and Maggie Hurley has 3 candidates in Royton South. The other places where the independents are standing is in Waterhead. There's a full team of the Oldham Heart team are putting up a three candidates there. I am meeting with Paul Taylor tomorrow lunchtime. Paul, if you're listening, you can buy the teas or the coffees wherever where you've arranged to meet, because I can't afford the teas or the coffees there. But I'm looking forward to catching up with Paul Taylor and the Oldham Heart team tomorrow. I know they've got a full team there, and I know they're also campaigning in other wards of the town. But Paul Taylor is a very pragmatic man, and my hope, my understanding so far, my hope is that Paul Taylor and his team don't go and compete in the other areas where the independents genuinely have a chance, so they won't compete in Shaw, they won't compete in Royton South. That's my hope from them, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there tomorrow, but you've got to speak to people. I know Amoy is standing as a lone independent in St. James. I love Amoy to bits. I think she's a beautiful woman, a beautiful soul, and nothing bad to say about her. She's standing on her own as an independent, not behind a party. She's like Mark Hints, she's separated from the Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth team. I'm hoping I will have time to go and help Amoy in her campaign. Well, I think she'll win. I don't think she'll win. Amoy knows why. I know why. It isn't a race thing, before anyone says. It's not a race thing at all. I think it's about Amoy's time and the resources she can galvanise behind her to get her over the line. I think that's the issue we have in Sholver and Durker and Moorside, those sorts of places in St. James. But Amoy is standing there. In St. Mary's, we have Aftab and his team, Aftab and one other independent. There's 2 of them standing in St. Mary's, so that's really, really good. Aftab, of course, is an independent councillor. He's beaten Arood Shah in the past, took Arood Shah out, and has held on to his seat a couple of years ago. So Aftab is standing, and I'll go through what's going on there. In Coldust, we have the newly formed Coldust Independent Party. They're all following the Failsworth Independent Party model, by the way, so Brian Hoban, Mark Wilkinson should have a lot to be proud of, because they have been the spark that has, spread across the town. The fire spread across the town using their successful model. So in Coldust, we've got the newly formed Coldust Independent Party. Montaz has a team. I think my understanding is there will be 3 candidates there at the very least. I've heard the Oldham Borough Independents want to stand there. Well, you can stand there if you want, guys. You don't even know your way around, but you go for it. In Medlock, historically, there's been around Bardsley. I know the old Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth lot have stood there. They've not got over the line, but that doesn't mean they can't stand there. And I think Mark Birchall will stand there again. He lives in that area. I think he lives either in Hollingwood or in Fitting Hill, so he captures a good 400 or 500 votes every time, so the best of luck to him. So let's see what happens there. In Hollingwood, we will have in terms of the local independents, I think we have got the Oldham Borough Independent standing there. They've got a team of 3 this time. Remember, they had the young lady whose name I want to get right, so just give me 1 second whilst I just quickly bring it up. They've got Vicky Whitehead, Victoria Barbara Whitehead standing there. She stood as an independent last time. I think I'm hoping the Oldham Borough Independence have got their act together and have registered their party, so there'll be 3 of them, to the best of my recollection, standing there. In terms of Failsworth East and Failsworth West, the Failsworth Independent Party are standing in across the board there. So that is what it looks like. We've got nothing in Chaddington South. Last time, remember, we supported Robert Barnes over the line, the Conservative candidate over the line, so there's nothing there. There's definitely nothing in Werneth. There's definitely nothing in Alexander. In Royton North and Crompton, I don't think there'll be anything. So you can see the spread of the independents across the town. I think that map just shows it. Now, how many we can get over the line now will be an issue for us, a challenge for all of us, because we're not all on the same page yet. I am meeting with all of the independents who are committed to working together on Thursday evening. For those of you who are interested, by all means get in touch with me and I will give you the time and location. It's by invitation only. I'm not inviting people who I can't be bothered with, in the sense that I'm not inviting people who are not committed to working together, who want to compete with each other, who want to make a name for themselves, irrespective of the 100 votes they're getting or the 200 votes they're getting, stopping someone else from getting over the line. I will say now, again, as I've said repeatedly on this journey, the people of our town, the people of our towns want all of us to work together. And if you are an independent, saying you're an independent in, and I'm making this up, I'm just looking at this, if you're an independent in Waterhead, my ask of you would be not to stand as an independent on your own. It would be to go and assist Oldham Heart, who have got 3 candidates there and who've got a history of standing there. If you're an independent in Coldust, I would implore you not to stand as your own and lose 100 votes or take 100 votes, and as a consequence the Coldust Independent Party failed to get over the line. I would urge you to go and support the Coldust Independent Party. Likewise in Hollingwood, if you are an independent, if you're an independent in Hollingwood, I would urge you to go and support the Oldham Borough Independence rather than stand as a separate independent. The Oldham Borough Independence only got 152 votes there last time. I think they need all the help they can get there. Same in Failsworth West and Failsworth East. If you're an independent, my preference, if at all possible, would be that you support the Failsworth Independent Party. And if you can't support the Failsworth Independent Party, then have a think of how you stand, why you stand, and whether or not you will get over the line and not let the Labour Party through the middle, because that's what they've relied on consistently in this town, the division amongst the rest of us. So it's took me a while to get to this place, and I understand my responsibility more, my role actually, more than ever before, and that is to try and be an ambassador across the independent movement, try and encourage, support, educate. And if I'm disappointed in someone or a party, is not to be shouting at them, is actually to share my disappointment in them. I think sometimes sharing your disappointment has more value and is far more powerful than shouting at someone. Someone looking at you with disappointment in the eyes has far more in terms of gravitas. So that's what I'm hoping. So there you go with where the independents are up to in this town. Now what I want to do next is perhaps use a different colour and mark up on this where we've got a chance. Where we've got a chance of Labour being defeated by Conservatives, as in Conservatives taking control of areas. Royton North, you've got Lewis Quick, who I've not spoken to since I fell out with him some time ago, Dave Arnott, and I'm not sure who their third candidate is. But the reality is, if you live in Royton North and you want to fight for this town, you want to fight for your community, you want to oust Labour, then the only people you can really vote in Royton North are the Conservatives. In Chaddington South, to answer your question, Lynn, I have no idea if Robert is standing there or not. That's Robert Barnes, the sitting Conservative councillor. I'd like to think he's standing, but I think things have gone on in Chaddington South And the withdrawal of us, the independents, in supporting the Conservatives, I think will play its part there. In St James, Beth Sharp is standing. She's standing against 2 Labour Party councillors. Last time Tom Lord stood, got close, but not close enough. Will Beth Sharp keep hold of her seat? In an ideal world, what Beth Sharp and her team of Conservatives would do would be to form a coalition with Amoy. Remember, you've got 3 votes this time, and there would be a second independent or a second Conservative, and they form a consortium. They form a team, and they work together. I don't know if Beth's got it in her to work collaboratively that way. I know Amoy has, but in an ideal world, there'd be 3 people you can say, put your name on these 3 people, and that's the only way you'll get them over the line. In Hollingwood, the Conservatives came very close last time. It was cartel politics, Asian politics, and I'm going to go through that in a moment with you. They came very close last time, but they have a chance, in part because of some of the boundary changes. They have a chance. Some of the Werner sort of areas and the Medlock areas have moved into Hollingwood, so Hollingwood has seen a rise in its traditional Asian vote, which might mean you can get them over the line. In terms of Royton, Chaddington North and Chaddington Central, Werner, Alexander, to the best of my knowledge so far, Alexander is all red. That's Dr. Chauhan's backyard. Werner is all red. That's Fida Hussein and Shoaib Akhtar's backyard. They've also moved Naila Ibrahim there. She used to stand in St Mary's, but Arooj Shah and her team have kicked her out and moved her to Werner, so Arooj Shah can get into St Mary's if possible. That's the Glodic stronghold. In Chaddington Central has changed as a ward. Have a look at this so you can see a bit clearer. It's the Broadway strip, and it cuts across Middleton Road. That, in a way, it didn't do before. This is basically OBA overspill. It's the Bangladeshi overspill. Mohon, Naz, and whatever. Is it Barbara Brownridge? Those are the 3 candidates, Labour candidates. I know there are conversations taking place with the coldest independent party to put at least 1 candidate in Chaddington Central. So sorry, give me a second. Let me change that to a green. There is a candidate. I'm hoping that candidate's name is Abdul Basit. Abdul Basit is, I've known him for a long time. He suffered a very, very bad stroke, and he fell apart, and he's gone through rehab for the last 5 years. Registered disabled, and I think he'll be standing. He has a history in Coldhurst and across the town, actually. There's a history across the town of supporting voluntary organisations, specifically around football. He helped run the Oldham sort of veterans football network and worked with Oldham Athletic with the sort of football, inter-community football stuff. So I think he aims to stand there. What chance he has against the machinery of the Labour Party there from a standing start, I don't know. Let's get this map back to normal size. And Chaddington North, of course, is a Labour Party stronghold as well. Why did I not do that with Failsworth West? So that is all of the wards apart from Crompton. And Crompton is a Lib Dem stronghold. Shaw is as well. So Markins will do well to get over the line in Shaw. And as with is his saddle of Western Lees, I think it's going to be interesting. So that's what I wanted to start the day off with in terms of what is the battle map looking like? Who's standing where? What is it starting to look like? Now, of course, while there's only 4 big blotches of Labour have put there, the truth is Labour are strong across the ward. Labour are strong. So let's have a look to see where we can take the Labour Party out. Let me clear this map completely. Just give me one moment. I just need to check something so I've got it right. Okay, got it. So in Saddleworth North, there is one Labour Party councillor left. His name is George Hume. So there's one up for grabs there. In Saddleworth North, George Hume, of course, is the son of Hannah Roberts. It's a dynastic political family. I don't understand them. He works for Debbie Abrams as well, so he's a career politician to all extents and purposes. Sneaked in last time because of the split in the vote between the Conservatives and the Lib Dems and the Saddleworth First Party. The Saddleworth First Party would have got over the line, but some idiot decided to stand as an independent instead of supporting them, got himself 150 votes, and those 150 votes, if they'd gone to the Saddleworth First Party, would have got Saddleworth the first independent candidate in the same way that Failsworth Independence now control Failsworth. But people of Saddleworth couldn't get behind one candidate, and so they let Labour in. So George Hume is up for so let me just answer Gary Lee. Say, Gary, these are council elections and I'm really frustrated, not at you per se, but I'm really frustrated how the number of people who I speak to ask the question about Debbie Abrams and McMahon. If you people can't tell the difference between local elections and national elections, I think it's just a reflection of how pitiful the state is in terms of our democratic understanding in not just our town but in this country. It's a pattern across the place. So there's one that can be took out there in Saddleworth North. In Royton South, sorry, I don't like it like that. Give me 1 second. In Royton South, there are 3 Labour Party candidates up for, that can be taken out. Amanda Chaddderton, Steve Bashforth, and Marie Bashforth. So the Bashforth husband and wife team. So there's 3 candidates there that can go. In Royton North, well, if the Tories win 2, the Tories win 3, and Piffian can be taken out there. It's an optimistic one, because the chances are in Royton North the Conservatives might actually lose their seats unless the Royton Independence co-campaign with them and work together. Now, I'm sure whilst the Royton Independence might work together, it's whether the Conservatives can go that one step further. I don't know. In Waterhead, there are 3 Labour Party councillors up for re-election. Most interestingly and most significantly, Councillor Riaz Ahmed, to the best of my knowledge, has stepped down. He is resigning. He is retiring. He won't be standing again. That will mean the Asian vote will be split, because there'll be some Asian independent councillor who didn't get the Labour ticket who'll stand as an independent. It's the first chance in a generation you'll have in Waterhead of breaking that Labour Party stranglehold. There are 3 candidates there. Outside chance. It all really depends on whether Paul Taylor and his Oldham Heart team are willing to put all of their efforts into one area and go for it. That would be my advice, but they are their own people. In the other areas, in Coldust, there are 2 Labour Party councillors standing. Remember, Montaz is the independent there. He's putting up a team of 3. My honest opinion is the Labour team of 3 involves Bilder Malik, Ruji Sultan and Abdul Jabbar. Abdul Jabbar will get over the line there. And as well, Montaz, as well Montaz. So both Montaz and Jabbar are the two political heavyweights in Calder. They'll both get over the line. And the third seat will be a shootout between the Coldest Independents and the two other Labour Party candidates. So we'll see what happens there. But at the very least, you know, of the two there, there's a chance one more could be lost. There's a chance one more could be lost. St Mary's, Aftab has a team of 2. Remember, Arud Shah has retreated to Glodick. You are going to become governed. This town is going to become governed from Glodick. And if you follow the Facebook posts recently, you will see how the gangsters have been mobilising behind Arud Shah in Glodick, and the Islamists have been mobilising behind the Labour Party in Glodick. You've all seen that if you follow Facebook, if you follow the social media posts. Aftab is a political heavyweight. He will win. I'm hoping the candidates running with him people will also vote for her every time they put the vote for him. But at best, you've got a chance of taking out another Labour Party candidate there. So you can see, and these are best case scenarios I'm sharing with you at the moment. In St James, you've got Beth Sharp standing, and I think, you know, with the two other candidates standing there, I don't think you're going to get over the line there unless they form a partnership, unless Beth Sharp actively joins with Amoy and goes around telling everyone who's voting for her to vote for Amoy. And likewise, if that was to happen, I can guarantee you 2 things. Labour would lose another seat there, Beth Sharp would retain a seat, and Amoy would also get over the line. If the Conservatives put the town first in St James and did that, then they would get Beth Sharp over the line and also get Amoy over the line. And if they don't do that, the chances are that actually Beth Sharp will also lose her seat there. I think that, Gary, is a question you need to ask Jim McMahon, isn't it? Why has he got an office in Chaddington Town Hall? Again, if you want me to give you basic 101 in politics, every MP has a constituency office. Debbie Abrams has a constituency office. Angela Rayner has a constituency office, as does James Ignatius O'Rourke has a constituency office. Now, he's entitled to a constituency office, and it's right that he has a constituency office. My issue with James McMahon is that his constituency office should not be in Chaddington Town Hall. It should not be in such a lavish building, and it should not be in a building that is basically taken over as his palace, and the council are subsidising his accommodation there. And furthermore, the council have spent the best part of £100,000 fitting out his toilets there. But as to a constituency office, everyone's entitled to one. Who's, you know, an MP. Now, please, if you can, stay focused on this. If you want to ask me questions about random bollocks I ain't got time for today, you're only going to interrupt my thread. We're looking at where the Labour Party can be taken out. In Chaddington South, best case scenario is that Robert Barnes keeps his seat. There's no way they're winning any more seats there. And there's no way they're winning seats in Alexander Wornoth or Chaddington North. Those are Labour Party strongholds. So that's 0 there. They'll get 0 new ones there. 0 new ones there. 0 new ones there. 0 in Medlock Vale. As in, Labour will keep hold of all 3. Yeah. Chaddington Central. If we call him Bertie, by the way, if Bertie stands and the young people there get behind him and we run a campaign, we can get Bertie over the line. 100% certain. If Bertie stands there and we run an effective campaign, we can get Bertie over the line there. No problem whatsoever. He's a popular guy. Hollingwood, Labour have 3 candidates. Now, I want to bring something up about Hollingwood. And, of course, in Failsworth West and Failsworth East, there's one Labour left, Elaine Garrett. She's going to go. she'll lose her seat. I'm even hearing that in Failsworth, the Labour Party are trying to put up candidates without the name Labour in it. The Labour historically have had a partnership with the Cooperative Party, so it's the Labour and Cooperative Party. They've got that desperate. The brand, the Labour brand, has got that much stigma attached to it that it doesn't even want to stand with the name Labour in Failsworth. So I'm hearing the BNP Pete wants to stand with the name the Cooperative Party. What a numpty. What an absolute numpty. As if people are that stupid. So that's where we're up to in terms of Labour. In terms of Lib Dem, I'm hoping that Mark Ince at least takes one of the Lib Dem seats. And I'm hoping that at least, if I'm honest with you, I think in Saddleworth, Western Lees, it's gonna be interesting. I think the Oldham Borough Independents have scored a massive, massive own goal by refusing to work with the Saddleworth Independent Party, because the Saddleworth Independent Party will be putting up candidates here, will be putting up candidates there, and no doubt will be putting up candidates here in Saddleworth, Western Lees. So they'll be putting up candidates in all three wards. And the consequence will be, because, who in Saddleworth is going to go and put an X next to the name with a party that says Oldham Borough Independence? But that's the arrogance and the egos, and I think the consequence of that will be, and it's not on the Saddleworth Independence Party, by the way, it's on the part of the Oldham Borough Independence. I think the consequence will be in Saddleworth, Western Lees, that Paul Shilton, who got 1,200 votes last time, will not get over the line. And remember, this is already a Lib Dem stronghold. Saddleworth, Western Lees, and Crompton are Lib Dem strongholds. They get 6 of the 9 seats from there, and the rest they pick up from Shaw. I'm sure Mark Ince will make inroads in Shaw, but the Lib Dems, at the very least, will be left with 7 or 8 seats. I don't think they'll get over the line in the candidates they're putting up in Saddleworth North and Saddleworth South. And the breaking news is that, what's her name? Helen, the Independent, who's forever on their Facebook pages ranting on about people being racist, and Helen I've known for a long time. So she's not got involved in trying to call me a racist, but she engages in all of those discourses. Helen Bishop is standing as a Liberal Democrat. So there you go. Helen Bishop is standing as a Liberal Democrat, is my understanding, in Saddleworth North, which means that one of the fallings out I had with Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth now 2 years ago, was over how to get Paul Shilton over the line in Saddleworth, Western Lees. And one of the scenarios I put forward, it wasn't even a recommendation, one of the options I put forward was, well, if he's already got 1,000 votes in his own name, why doesn't he just go and stand as the Conservative candidate that already have a voter base of 400, and combined he's over the line? I suspect that if Paul Shilton doesn't get over the line this time, then in 2 years' time, one of two things will happen. He won't stand again, or he'll be standing as a Conservative candidate, and it's just took him 4 years to get to that place where Helen Bishop appears to be at now. She's hoping that she can bring her 400 independent votes with her and add them to the Lib Dem votes in that area of about 600, get to 1,000 or so and get over the line. That is the Liberal Democrat strategy in Saddleworth North. I understand that Councillor Mark Kenyon has played a considerable role in encouraging Helen Bishop to become yellow. Okay. So, in order to, and of course, anywhere where the Lib Dems are holding seats, The Labour Party ain't going to take them, by the way. There's no way. So the Labour Party ain't going to win anything in Shaw, Crompton or Saddleworth West and Lees. Let me clear all this. So where are the seats coming from? To reduce Labour to no overall control. Remember, to get them down to no overall control, they've got to win 0 seats, 0 new seats, and lose 5. So where are the 5 seats going to come from? Saddleworth North will give you 1 seat. George Hume's toast is gone. Failsworth West will give you 1 seat. Elaine Gary's gone. So that's 2 seats. Royton South, if you get rid of Amanda Chadderton, you get rid of all 3 of them. We'll give you 3 seats. And then you're stretching. You got 5 there, but then you're starting to stretch. Okay, where can you lose them? Yes, you can, maybe take 1 in. Maybe take 1 in Coldhurst. Maybe take 1 in St Mary's. Maybe take 1 in Royton North. Maybe take 1 in St James. But I'm stretching there in terms of that. Maybe take 1 or 2 or 3 in Waterhead, but these are outside chances. Where is the chance here of where you can take Labour out? And it comes to Hollingwood. It comes straight forward to Hollingwood, which had a by-election recently. Let me shift this out of the way and bring up the my other screen that I'll need for this. Just give me one moment. Okay, separate pen. If you're finding value in these transmissions, in these morning workshops, remember I am coming back in the evening as well at 9 o'clock. But if you're finding value in this, then please consider helping keep my lights on and buy me a coffee. The vast majority of people who tune into these transmissions do not subscribe in any way whatsoever. There's 81 of you watching on my screen right now. And this form of political analysis is not done anywhere else in this town in this way, if at all. So please, if you find value in my work, consider buying me a coffee. Consider subscribing at the very least to the webpage. And if you are yet to do so, and I'm looking at this and the vast majority are yet to do so, I've only got 15 likes on that screen. So that would be good. Hannah Roberts. Remember, there's been a slight change to the boundaries in Hollingwood that has meant some of the Asian overspill from Wearmouth and Medlock have moved into Hollingwood. Hannah Roberts, the Labour Party import. Remember, we got rid of her in Royton North with a Conservative. Her son is the councillor in Saddleworth North, George Hume, who also works for Debbie Abrahams. Hannah Roberts got elected at the by-election with just 718 votes. The Conservative candidate, a man called Cameron Gaffer, got 639 votes. Now let me bring something up to show you. Let me bring something up to show you. 2022. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. This is the election results from just 6 months ago. Remember, it was a by-election because Jean Stretton died. Jean Stretton got 1,000 votes last time. You can see that, yeah? So last time, it was 1,010 votes. And last time, the Conservatives got 313 votes. So the Conservatives went up by 300 votes and the Labour Party went down by 300 votes. So you can see straight away what's happened there is that there's been a transfer of votes from the Labour Party to Cameron's total. You can see that, can't you? So they have got a voter base of 650 and the Labour Party are down now. They're down to 750 votes at best. John Lawrence last time got 174 votes. Northern Heart, the Oldham Heart lot, got 67 votes. And Karen and the Lib Dems got 151 votes. Once it changed, of course, John Lawrence's vote went down by over 100. He ended up with 59 votes at this election. So I'll put all their names down. Just give me 1 second. So we know who all the players are. John Lawrence got 100 he got 59 votes this time. And the time before, that's the wrong colour. Give me 1 second. The time before, he got 174 votes. The Oldham Borough Independence. Let's give her a name. We'll put everyone else's name on. Just give me 1 second. Vicky Whitehead got 152 votes. And last time, proud of Oldham, the Oldham Heart party stood there. They got 67 votes. So you can see there's been 100 vote transfer, give or take, and that voter transfer has gone in this direction. And then the Liberal Democrats they got 36 votes this time. And last time they'd got 151. So the Lib Dems didn't even bother turning out. Or they went that way. I don't think the Lib Dems would have gone this way. I don't think that would have happened. I don't actually think they'd have gone that way towards Cameron either. So you can see what's happened there. So what you've got what you've got in Hollingwood is a situation where 750 votes will win you an election. 750 votes will win you an election. I grew up on Widdop Street in Calderst, in Westwood. We never called it Calderst, it was Westwood. I grew up on Widdop Street in Westwood. There was a handful of streets in Westwood. It was my world as a child, 5 or 6 streets. Widdop Street, behind me was Colwyn Street, and behind me was a row of shops and a few houses on Middleton Road with the mosque there. Nothing else there, it was all derelict there at the time. So we had Widdop Street, Colwyn Street, a handful of houses on Middleton Road. We had Plato Street, Harold Street, Hurt Street, Neve Street, and I think it was Westbourne Street at the top near the subway, but again a handful of houses there. Within a 2-minute walk in either direction from where I lived, there's 1,000 votes on those 7 streets. Hollingwood is the same. It's compact, it's tight. Back-to-back terraced houses still there. You got Limeside. You've got 2 options. You go and supplement Cameron Gaffar and his team, and I'm not happy with his team, I'll be honest with you. The Conservatives have put up 3 Asian candidates, that's my understanding there. So they're hoping that the 639, they can get over the line with a few more. They should have, in a town like ours, I don't think it's healthy. Particularly in a neighbourhood, in a ward like Hollingwood that is demographically mixed. But these are the strategies of Lewis Quigg and Graham Sheldon, Beth Sharp, Pam Byrne. You'll have to ask them why they're putting up 3 Asian candidates in a demographically mixed area and trying to copy the Labour Party. But put that to one side, you have 2 options. 750 votes, remember. You suck it up, and the 150, that would be the Oldham Borough Independence, or the 200, that would be the Oldham Borough Independence. Go and support Cameron Gaffar's team, and you've got rid of 3 Labour councillors like that. Guaranteed, I guarantee you. If an alliance was to be formed that way, like that, Carl Piffian, of the new emerging Piffian dynasty of Oldham Labour politics. Carl Piffian, of course, also works for Jim McMahon, MP, just like George Hume works for Debbie Abrahams, and both their parents are sitting councillors. Just like that, 3 candidates, 3 Labour Party councillors are wiped out in Hollingwood. That's the easy option. Long term, I'm not sure it's healthy, but it's the easy option. The harder option is to support the 3 candidates, independent candidates, the Oldham Borough independent candidates in Hollingwood. Unfortunately, the Oldham Borough Independence will not work in partnership with others in the way that they would need to. So that's a shame. Because the 3 candidates they're putting up there, I don't even know if they've been honest with them as to the scale of the challenge and what needs to happen for them to win. The question I have of myself, and it's not just here, I'm looking at other wards. Forget Royton South, where you've got a functioning party now. Forget the Saddleworth places where you've got a functioning Saddleworth Independent Party. Forget those places. Forget Mark Hince's Shaw and Crompton, where you've got capable, competent people who've experienced running campaigns and elections. Forget those for a moment. Waterhead can a collaborative, a cooperative, a cohesive and consistent campaign with 8 weeks to go take Oldham Heart over the line if they work in partnership? I believe they can. I believe it can. More so because Riaz Ahmed's now retired. There's a weakness there. That won't come back, by the way. It's a once in a generation opportunity in Clarksfield. So it's Waterhead, sorry. I think in the newly formed Chaddington Central ward, my generation and younger, more progressive Bangladeshis from within the coldest overspill, we can get Bertie over the line with a consistent, cohesive campaign. But in all of the places, it's what? It's Hollingwood. In all of the places, it's Hollingwood. There are 3 Labour Party seats up for grab. 750 votes will get you over the line. And in the place I grew up, 750 votes was just in the 4 streets that I lived around. The 4 or 5 streets I lived around, there was more than 750 votes. Where the independents have stood and gained traction is because they've had legitimacy in the communities where they stand. First and foremost, they have legitimacy in the communities they stand. Now, I have no doubt that Vicky Whitehead and her team do have legitimacy in the communities they stand. And those of you who remember my reflections on the election result at the time was that I felt for her. Sorry is the wrong word, but I felt for her. That this brave woman has stepped forward and she'd been failed by the party. I am 100% certain, even with 8 weeks to go, that a very focused campaign led by people who know what they're doing, with experience of winning elections, could transform Vicky's voter base of 152, depending on who her other 2 are, by the way, to at least 500. Would it get us over the line? Maybe not. 2 months earlier, 750, easy. Absolutely easy. And it's still doable. It's still doable. And I will show you next time exactly how to run a campaign. None of these stupid leaflets where the fonts don't match and the pictures are stretched and no one knows what they've written or who's written it, and designed by committee. I will show you next time how very easily what an election campaign should look like. And it's not ranting on social media. What an election campaign should really look like, focused around a sequence of 5 simple leaflets. I know the saddle of Independent Party have already taken me up on an offer. That offer is also there to the coldest independents. I'm sorry guys, you're going to have to pay for it. If you want me to do the work for you in detail, you're going to have to pay me for it. I'll outline it for free. I'll talk you through it for free. I'll come and see you for free. I'll share it on here for free. And I'll do that next time. A very, very good morning to all of you. A good afternoon to all of you. Thank you to the one person who's bought me some coffees for this hour-long transmission. I'm very, very grateful to that person. Hopefully I'll see some of you this evening. And once again, if I upset some of you, I'm looking at Gary's name here, as I like Gary Lees. If I upset some of you with my frankness, my motive isn't to upset you. My motive is to educate you. And my motive is to get us to where we need to be as quickly as possible. So sometimes I come across short. It's nothing personal. It's never been anything personal. I'm just trying my best to get us to where we need to be, because where we are is where none of us want to be. So I'm hoping you can forgive me for how I behave sometimes, my frankness sometimes. It isn't meant in any way personal. The mess we're in this town is because of a complete absence of political education. And I'm trying my best. A very, very good afternoon. I'll see you all at 9 o'clock.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.